Salutations, dear viewer.
Yes, that's right. It's what you've been waiting all motherfucking week for. The MUMKEY and BIGS show.
True.
BIGS, have you ever heard of a podcast?
I don't think so.
So there's this idea in podcasting where if you hate BIGS, you invite Eggy onto the show.
Oh, yeah, that's why I'm here. I'm Eggy.
Yeah, that's
How's it
right.
going, guys?
MUMKEY and BIGS together in the flesh as usual, and special guests calling in all the way from Hell's Kitchen, Eggy Eggman Rodriguez.
Man, it's been a while since I seen MUMKEY and BIGS in the same room.
Yeah, I think it's been at least 60 days. And, you know, Eggy, you finally got those glasses that you've been needing to pick up from the doctor for the last 5 months. And they keep on calling every, week. And it's this lady, Victoria, and she's like, hey, whenever you got time, we got your prescription ready. Hey, I might be legally blind, but I'm on that legally grind. You dig what I'm saying? Let's go. Let's go.
Wait, are you still playing BIGS right now? Because I don't know if...
I think he transitioned mid-sentence there.
He forgot who he was, as we all tend to do from time to time. BIGS, last time Eggy was here, we planned out a little video for the three of us to participate in called the 24-hour Wheel of Torture. Now that we finished filming that, what was your experience like?
Probably one of the better days of my life, you know.
Wow, because you seemed like you were in a lot of pain that the whole day. So for you to remember it fondly is kind of crazy.
Speaking of fondling, thank you, Wesser, for fondling that paid subscriber button. Now right back to it. Let's go.
Did I say fondle? But BIGS, go continue.
I was just gonna say, you know, for a notorious masochist like me, you know, being in pain constantly is like the dream.
Yeah, so expect that video to come out around the same time as the Rusty Cage boxing match. I'm going to try to finish that one first and then get them both out the same weekend.
You gonna be boxing a corpse or what?
No, we filmed this a long time ago, but Emp Lemon kept
Oh.
hitting the flash drive with his knee and it corrupted the data.
Amazing.
Thankfully,
Love
due
to see
to
it.
AI, we've been able to regenerate all the missing pieces and all the fragments and things of that nature.
We
Put it
need
together.
more Eggy over here, if I could somehow finagle it. And now it's exactly the same as it was 1 moment ago. Is that a
Just enough
Sneed shirt?
To get that Sneed's representation.
His brother Chuck actually submitted a Depression Chamber story this past Sunday, and a lot of us were in tears.
It's because they sprayed tear gas over the crops. It was a
It's a sad story of a brother who stole the family business and changed the name from Chuck's to Sneed's. And, you know, there's some...
I didn't know it was a takeover like that.
Well, his wife was, you know, some infidelity involved. It was really sad.
I might have to run that one back because I did not. I listened to the new main channel videos on the way down, but I did not listen to that new Depression Chamber.
What did you think when you saw I just stole a video from Sunny Side and just recapped it for him in half the time, and that was my new video?
Well, listen, hey, if it gets 1 million subscribers for him, you know what? Let's keep up the winning formula.
Yeah, so far it's had similar results on my channel. Well, BIGS, everybody's favorite segment that we've somehow done, I think 5 weeks in a row, maybe just 4, maybe 5, is the pathetic list. And you know what? Why not keep a good thing going? Eggy's our guest. He could be the first ever guest pathetic entry, you know? So what do you think, Big? Should we do it again?
Yeah, let's go.
Eggy, are you ranting and raving and ready to put something on? Let's see if I have it pulled up ready. The pathetic list, which currently has in the top 2 spots prankster influencers. And from last week, people who are angry at Quagmire from Family Guy as if he's a real person.
I didn't know that there was
put the whole thing on there.
I didn't know there was such hatred for Quagmire in that way. I thought he was always a role model.
Yeah. Well, so you're gonna bring in people who just dislike Family Guy in general, then?
Well, I mean, I had something in mind for my addition to the list, and it was in fact hardly Family Guy related at all, I would think.
Well, let's do it then. I'm ready.
Well, my submission for the pathetic list is going to be Gamblers.
Biggs, you a big gambler over there?
Not
Other than with
really.
your cholesterol?
That's true. That is one thing I love to gamble. For me, it kind of depends. I don't really like to spend money on it, but like if there's a game that has loot boxes that you can get with in-game currency or something, I like doing that stuff. Just kind of
So
like
you
that.
agree that loot boxes are gambling?
Oh yeah, 100%. Even more so if you spend real money on them.
Well, so far, Eggy, this is uncharacteristic of you. The chat is against you. They're saying L take, gambling is base. So let's give Eggy a moment to explain himself. I'm sure he has some good reasons.
Well, you see, I know that gambling is loved and cherished by trillions. However, as a serious gambler myself, someone who has lost thousands and thousands of dollars gambling in the last year, the reason why I say gamblers are pathetic is unfortunately it's such a wonderful concept that it should really be all positive, but for some reason when you really get into the casino and you're really at those tables and you're really knocking it around, turns out a lot of them are pathetic. I mean, they're in the truest sense of the word. I want to take you back to a couple of weeks ago. I was really smacking the blackjack on stake, and I said, you know what, this is so good. I'm going to go hit the real tables high limit style. So I did a little 40-minute commute, got down to the tables high limit, blackjack $50 a hand, and there was a man there. And even as I was coming in to, I don't wait for the next shoe or whatever. Listen, you either win or you lose. So I come and sit down, and he was absolutely molding and seething. And I think just off the rip, if you will, not to use too much slang, but I mean, basically, if you're ever seething while gambling, I mean, that's already a really bad sign.
It's pretty pathetic. Just to
lost,
be angry in public is pretty pathetic.
I've lost thousands of dollars in a single session, and I don't get angry and start like doing this on the. I don't start thumping the table or anything like that. I go, and then maybe I smoke a cigarette. But really, it actually makes me more focused. It makes me more focused because I'm like, all right, now it's a whole different ball game.
Well, Eggy, just to interrupt very briefly, we are planning on playing Vegas Stakes at some point for the Super Nintendo. So maybe we can see if you're lying. You might be capping, as the kids say. We'll see you losing like a virtual hand of poker. Just fucking flip out, start knocking all my shit over.
No, and listen, I mean, people don't know about this once again because I don't think you can do this on the online casinos. So some Zoomers out there that prefer that, you might not know. It's customary also to tip your dealers.
Yeah,
if you win,
that's the job to have.
You need to tip them and break them off a little bit of your winnings for dealing you the winning hand, even though they have no control over that, as far as I'm aware, unless they're cheating or something. But when have you ever known a casino to be illegitimate or anything like that? I've never known that in my life. They're held to very strict standards, from what I've been told. But when it is a virtual dealer, then in those cases you can say,
we got Rogue Mod banning Mingo, but it looks like he had it coming, so it's all good.
R.I.P. the brother Mingo.
What, you banned him for saying Sneed? Oh my God! No, you got timed out. But Eggy, I'm not convinced why these people are pathetic yet. I think what you meant to say was people who lose at gambling, because I mean, is it pathetic to win millions of dollars? I don't think so. And at least half of gamblers win.
Well, that's true, but also I am going to say yes to that because I'm trying to think. I mean, I like to play the tables. You don't see like necessarily, that's more of a sustained continual win. It's what we call in the volatility. So there's that less of a house edge on tables, but unless you're going to count and you're going to go betting 25 or 50 and all of a sudden you're betting 500 or whatever the maximum is on hands out of nowhere, you're not really going to get these big gains. It's a war. It's not a battle. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to think. Well, actually, no, I do remember once. So this was probably a couple months ago. I was in and I was playing some baccarat because I learned how to play. I watched a guy named Bretsky. He's a gambling YouTuber. See, those guys got it right because they're always gonna they recoup to some degree, so they can just keep gambling and losing. But they just
What,
film
based
it
on
and
their their super chats or what?
yeah, something like that.
Because I've watched Vegas Matt lose 30 grand in an hour, and it's like, well, I made $20 in super chats, so
It's all worth it in the end.
Well, he got sponsored by FanDuel now, so now he's getting a cut under the table too. But
Okay.
so I was playing baccarat, and it was whatever. It was just kind of an unremarkable session. But there was a guy. He had the casino also has pull tabs. With what they other gambling things. They've got the tables and the machines and the virtual machines and bingo and whatever, poker, da da da. But he won. I think it was like $30,000 on a pull tab, and I came in about, it was probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock that I was at the table, so maybe it was about 9:30 that I heard this guy, 30,000 on a pull tab. They said they had like a big thing for him, like they had all these suits or whatever with him, and they're like shaking his hand. So anyways, I played what I was going to play. I stayed, I had a meal, and I had a drink, but only one drink because I was going to be driving. So it was I got out of there probably about 1 o'clock, and I went out. I was on my way towards the doors, and it was the same guy who had won the 30,000 or whatever. He was getting arrested for beating a woman.
Oh.
Like he was handcuffed. They were like walking him out the door.
Because he lost the whole thing that night?
It was something, I don't know. Like
he gambled the whole thing and lost it and started beating his wife.
As soon as you get rich, you just immediately become an abuser, I guess. Is that the takeaway here?
I don't know. It was him. So I can remember it because I'm going out the one side because they had it's like 10 doors or whatever. It's like the whole front entrance or whatever. And he's in handcuffs, and they're walking him with the handcuffs, and he's walking down the river, and like the lady's coming up behind him, and she she had like red mark on her face, which I'm like, it looked like and she was like just like screaming at the top of her lungs, and he's like trying to say something, and they're like kept on like they had like their hand on his head, and they're trying to like get him to like shut up. Or he's like trying to yell back at her, and they're like keeping him down like that, and I'm like. So, I mean, you could have bad
you
winners,
win some, you lose some, huh?
That's right.
That's the lesson of that guy's night.
I mean, frankly, I think just like King Cobra taught us in the last couple of months, really was just less than hashtag MGTOW. You know, if he'd won that $30,000 and he didn't have a wife, I mean, he could have just been in Thailand that night, got all kinds of flavors. But, you know, she probably was trying to get in on his action. He wasn't feeling it, so he had to teach her what time it was in a self-defense, of course, I'm assuming.
Well, I can add to this entry a little bit. You know, I've seen the demon awaken in some gamblers, and once they're there and they've been at their slot machine for 4 hours in a row, no matter how much they win, it will not be enough. And like once they're in the hole and they're like, okay, I'm betting the rest of my family's fucking house on this one. Like this is my journey. I'm the main character of this movie at the casino, and surely it will end with a happy ending. So if I just keep feeding more of my money and keep going back to the ATM to get more savings, surely I'll eventually hit the grand and get, 250K, and they'll win a jackpot of like $1,800, and maybe they'll be up. Like they walk in, they get that. They're still not happy. These people only want the big prize, and they will give their winnings back to the casino. They say the casino legally has to pay out this much winnings. Yeah, that's true. And then 95% of that is just given right back to them immediately because the people want to win more. If you're unsatisfied with $1,800 and you want to give it back to try to get more, I think you're fucking pathetic.
Well, I'm gonna say one more thing too. This is something I see because I like the machines. I like to play some of the machines, but since I learned how to play cards at the tables, I like the tables more now. But the Vegas Matt, I was just as I was on my way to Jimmy's home, I put on the new Vegas Matt episode yesterday, and he's playing this game Coin True, and he like hits some huge. He was betting like $30. He hits like a $900 hit on not even a bonus. He just hits 9. So that's a pretty good hitting on some lines or whatever. And he's like, he's just like, and then
Wait, was that anger or happiness?
It was like, oh yeah, here we go. And he does like 3 spins. Then after he wins his thing, he does like 3 spins that don't hit anything. He's like, oh my god, this machine sucks. I hate it. I can't believe this. Like, And I do watch some Boss Man Jack too, and it's like kind of he wins like 10 times whatever he's betting, and then he loses like 2 spins. And he's like, "Oh my god, dude! Like what? I never win." And
Like a 6-year-old losing at Fortnite in his bedroom, and his parents have to walk him and say, "Stop screaming like a retard." These guys are grown men in a casino in public screaming at a machine like it's a video game.
Oh,
exactly.
Man, I have a story that was so funny to me afterwards, but at the time I was like, why? So for one of my birthdays, my mom and my aunt really wanted to take me to the casino. And I had told them previously, like, I'm not a huge gambler. If I go to the casino and lose $20, like, I'm ready to leave. Like,
Oh,
that's
that'd be
all.
my night is ruined if I lost
Exactly,
20 bucks to
yeah.
a machine. Like I'd be thinking of all like $5 on steroids, that fucking short film. Like all the things I could have bought with that $20.
Yeah, exactly. So we go to the casino. I'm playing a little bit. I think I win like $50 at some point. I'm like, I'm happy. I'll just walk around with the rest of them. They're all having fun playing slots and whatever. So I'll just cash out for the night. And so my mom is like, "Hey, I'll make you a deal. Um, like this $20 right here, whatever I win from it, I'll give it to you for your birthday today." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, sweet, yeah, sure." So she ends up getting like mad at a game because she's losing some. She's like down to $5, and she's like, "You know what? I need you to just go away. I think you're kind of causing bad luck right now." And
Insanity.
I'm like, sure. I mean, fine, whatever.
Choosing the gambling addiction over her child at that point.
So then, like, I want to say 45 minutes to an hour passes, and I finally find her again. And she's up like 2 grand on that 20.
You
And
are unlucky.
I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm like, you can cash out right now. You don't even have to give me all of it. Just give me like not even a quarter of it, and I'll be happy for my birthday. And she's like, no, 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 I can get you more. I can get you more. And she like shoos me away again.
So you ended up
And
with
so
nothing is how the story ends?
so like another 30 minutes go by, and I go back over there, and she is down $100.
Oh, how's she negative?
She's down because after she lost the 20, she kept putting in more money trying to win on
okay.
that machine. And I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not paying you $100. That's not how this is
Yeah.
working.
But you see what I'm saying, though? I mean, with all due
It's
respect to the parties we're speaking of here, it's like, I've except for that one, there was a couple times where I have got tilted, but I know better now. That was kind of earlier on. But I see it though. Like I see guys like I'm over here, at high limit it's $50 a hand on blackjack, and I don't always need to play high limit. I like to sometimes. Sometimes they'll have where you get extra whatever for playing in high limit. But let's say it's $20 a hand on a regular table, and I'll see guys even older than me. I mean, they're like sitting there and just like sweating bullets, betting like $15-$20 hands of blackjack, and they do terrible plays. They don't even like know how to play. They're hitting on like eight. They got 18. They want to hit. All this like stuff. They're like just insanity. And then they just get up and they're like, and they're like sitting there. They like make us like stop and wait so they can go to the ATM. I'm sitting there. I'm sitting at a table, and it's got where you can see the ATM from the tables. And the guy's going over to the ATM, and he's just like, he like presses something, and he like his card gets declined, and he's like, wait, no, wait a little more. And then he like pulls out another card, and he's like punching it in, and he's like sitting there, and he's got his hands on the sides of the ATM like shaking.
Oh my god.
Like,
So
Yeah, don't
desperate
they-
to give their money to like a billionaire at that point.
Yeah, don't they have machines too where you can like apply for a loan on the spot or something, like a small cash loan?
no,
I could
you
have swore I
can
saw something like that.
you can
Like
so
a bank transfer on the slot machine.
No, like they have an ATM or a separate money machine. I could have swore where you can like put in for like a small cash loan or something.
Yeah, casinos. I mean, I've played different size casinos, but ones that are more than just a hole in the wall, like small. If they got like a decent sized property, they'll probably have the ability to give loans out. So yeah, casinos do have all the ones in Vegas and stuff. They've all got. You provide them basically like you take a loan from the bank. You provide them all your personal information. They authorize you for a certain based on your income or whatever. You can get a certain amount of credit at the bank to take that loan out at the casino and gamble, and they can
That's
like sue you.
wild.
That should be illegal. Like,
The
who are
sad
they?
thing is,
Who needs a loan to continue gambling? It's not somebody with a good head on their shoulders who's doing well in life.
yeah, and the sad thing is like we're barely scratching the surface of how pathetic they can be because we haven't even gotten to the idea of like being so hooked on those slots that they wear like adult diapers to the casino
They just
and
keep
just
hitting
sit
the
there and
button over and
soil
over for
themselves
hours.
over and over. Yeah, just
Are the guys who will bring their wife or their girlfriend to the casino and then like 3 a.m. she's begging him, I just want to go home, and he's like glued to the machine and wants to keep losing his money, and he's being like irritated and mean to his woman over fucking gambling. It's pathetic. It makes me sick. Should we put it to a vote? Unless you guys have any final thoughts, or I guess let them flow now.
I
Do
mean,
you want to put gamblers who lose or just gamblers in general, Iggy?
I mean, even if you win, it's people who win. It's the ones that they come on that same flip side because, in my opinion, they always say like that big win is what gets you really locked in. It's what like makes you think that this is the magic fucking juice or whatever the magic.
They just
way
got to
to
get
live.
you one time, and then you're hooked for life, pretty
Yeah,
much.
and I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, really, because since I've been playing tables more, it's just really like seeing like guys. I mean, they've got $200. I just saw this not too long ago. I'm trying to think. It was probably might have been that when I was saying the guy who was that a couple. I can't. I think what I was gonna say was a couple weeks ago. There was a guy who was seething at the table because he said he was down $10,000, but they weren't going to give him a free hotel room or something, and that he was like he was seething about it the whole time. Like every single hand that was dealt, like no matter if he was winning or losing, he would just like mention it after every single hand. But
All this, and I don't even get a free room.
there
I
was
can't imagine like being so mad that I'm down $20, being down 10K, I'd just kill myself on the spot.
Yeah.
well, I went and I seen a lady. I was just standing and looking to see. There was another table that was kind of hot, and I was looking about getting into that table. So I'm standing at that near that table, kind of watching the play. And then to the side of me, there's an ATM kind of close, and I could see a lady put in for $100 in the ATM, and I could see it comes up card declined, and she like, I mean, I think the look on her face was like probably more than if somebody had told her that her spouse got murdered or something. Like look on her face when the $100 came up declined was like I've this like color leaving her face, like pure grief stricken. And I'm like $100. I'm like, if I had less like $1,000 in my bank account, I would.
It would be over.
I would be like,
She's dirt poor, like completely broke, trying to gamble at a casino like it's gonna save her life.
I walked up and I said, "What color's your Bugatti, broki?"
Okay, looks like it's got 68 points on the pathetic list. Now it's 67 right when I end it. Let's see what it compares to. And now it's down to 66 even. Whatever you say. Let's see. So what's around 66? It's as bad as Lowly Enjoyers. Okay, I'll put it above it on the list.
Well, you know,
What do you think's
There's
more?
more-
No, it's up to you. What's more pathetic, Lowly Enjoyers or Gamblers, Eggy?
gamblers are definitely superior
Okay. Wait, superior in terms of patheticness or like moral?
in life. They're just better
Okay.
people. Which is, I mean, and gamblers are bad people, but I can't co-sign a lolly enjoyer. Fucks that goes, albeit.
And I'm sure Digibro will get on the list many more times in many different ways. Okay. Big, should I go next or should you go next? Because I don't know if you're going to like mine.
You can go next.
So, I've got this YouTube channel where I do One Piece reviews. It's called MUMKEY D. Jones. And lately, me and my friend Biggs have been reviewing something called JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. 5 episodes at a time. And I've been posting the reviews isolated as their own video over on the One Piece channel, Biggs. And I've been getting some comments. So, this week, I was going to bring in comment crybabies, but then I thought about it and I realized maybe the crybabies got it right. So I'm bringing in hashtag fake fans to the pathetic list. Biggs, here are some comments posted on our JoJo reviews. I thought Biggs was supposed to be the one familiar with the show, but he sounds like someone with Alzheimer's trying to recollect a synopsis they read the day before. Now, supposedly, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is something Biggs enjoys and really likes and is knowledgeable about. And yet, listen to our reviews. I don't know. The comments seem to agree. MUMKEY, who is this character? Biggs, I don't know. MUMKEY, what do they do? Biggs,
So-
I don't know.
What's funny about that comment in particular is you had sent it to me, and I watched back the episode because I was curious. And the thing is, and I've stated before, I am horrible with names. Terrible with names. So
MUMKEY,
it's
why
not
did
that
this happen? Biggs, I don't know. Hey,
So
did
it's
you
not that
notice
I
the
didn't know
art
the
style
character.
changed? Everyone else who's seen the show, the art style didn't change. It's still season 1 of
But
the
it
anime.
did change. It wasn't as drastic as like part 2 to 3, but there was definitely an art style change between part 1 and 2. If you watch those 2 parts and say there's no art style change, you're brain dead.
Biggs, my point is, you're a hashtag fake fan of JoJo's. If we were doing an anime review of One Piece, 5 episodes at a time, I guarantee you, every single question you could possibly ask would be answered by me. If we watch 5 episodes of One Piece anime, there's no question I could not answer for you, Biggs. Do you understand? This is what a real fan looks like. Somebody cool, Chad, awesome. Fake
And
fan on the other side, pathetic, weak, knows nothing about who Strizo is.
And do you remember what I said when we first started the JoJo reviews?
You said I'm a huge
I
fan
said-
and I have an encyclopedia knowledge of this
Yeah.
anime.
Yeah, I was like, I am mega mind when it comes to every detail.
You're more
You
of a
asked
mega
me
mind
what
too.
pixel is what, and I can tell you. No, I did tell you. You guys could call me a fake fan. That's fine. There's a lot I'm not going to know right off the bat.
So I think
And
it's only fair
I'm
if I have to
terrible with
watch all this
names.
JoJo shit with a hashtag fake fan, surely we can start our One Piece review and you can see what a real fan looks like.
So this is a huge roundabout way to get you to make me watch One Piece.
I think it's only fair. You're making me watch the shit you claim to love and wasting my life away on it and you don't even fucking like it.
Yeah, I don't like it because I can't remember a name. Like,
I could tell you anything about any One Piece character. Ask me right now.
listen, I've spent so much time concocting tons of knowledge in my brain about Donnie Darko. I don't have room for anything else.
What's Donnie's dad's name?
Oh, Freddy.
He got fingered.
It's true.
I don't think
I'm
that
thinking
All
is
his
right,
true.
let's
name
see where it
was
lands.
Bobby Sparko, aka Bob Marley, who do the Sparky. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, did he smoke in that movie? Did Eddie Darko smoke? Okay, fake fans. And this isn't just for this, okay? Biggs is one example, but there's fake fans everywhere. People who, if you are knowledgeable of something and then somebody who comes in, last year, they got a surface level knowledge, they like the newest release only. Fucking Boruto fans who claim that they like Naruto, you know what I'm talking about. It's an epidemic. Fucking fake fans ruin every actual fandom by invading it with their surface level knowledge, and they oftentimes literally do not understand the characters in the story, and they have their own head canon, like, this character in my mind is actually secretly gay with that one, and I'm gonna give the show a 1 star on IMDb if the finale doesn't have them kiss. Like, these are the fake fans that ruin it for everybody else. It's pathetic. And Biggs is one of them. Biggs is a hashtag JoJo fake fan.
See, it's what we
Oops.
call a casual. It's the same thing. I remember back in the day, World of Warcraft, the greatest game ever made, there was this thing called twinking, which now it sounds a little zesty in the modern, vernacular, but basically it meant you would stop leveling your character at a certain point, you'd max it out for that particular level. And all these casuals, they hated on it because they thought it was for people that were just trying to, really overpower other characters and not enjoy the game fully. But it was more of a hobby for people who had a lot of extra money in the game and things like that. Eventually, they terminated every way to do such a thing in the game. They really nerfed it for the casuals. And if you're a real fan, you're not a casual. You could, when I decided that I really enjoyed Lodos War, I went and bought all the manga, even the rarest manga. I went and I got the entire soundtrack on both CD physically and also FLAC so that it could
Oh,
be
FLAC?
purchased
Hell yeah.
digitally in a lossless format forever. And nowadays I see the character from that particular series, Deedlit, who is an elf girl, has sort of been assimilated into the e-girl culture. They like to pretend they're elven girls, and so this is a popular character for them to pretend to be. And I just know that they never really got down like I did. You weren't on those Japanese websites that I haven't browsed in some years, so forgive me, but I was over there converting my USD to yen and pre-ordering merchandise that wasn't going to be released for 2 years, and it's still sold out. I was over there with all the weebs. We were doing it right. But it is what it is.
Biggs, do you have any thoughts on fake fans before I read the results?
No, they're pretty pathetic. I admit it.
Biggs, quiz me on One Piece right now, just so I can prove to you my superiority.
In episode 129, at the 10-minute mark,
That's,
who was on screen?
That's not the kind of shit we're talking about.
Oh,
The
fake
very
fan.
basics of what is that character and what do they do should not be lost on you. Any named character, I could fucking tell you something about them. Come on.
Well, I'm curious as an outside observer on both of these series. How many seasons of JoJo are there?
There's 190 episodes.
Okay.
And One Piece just hit episode 1100.
Okay. Well, for certain series that have only had 1 or 2 seasons, there's people who I know that are very serious fans of those particular programs that could tell you that kind of thing of like, I watched my cousin once. He was watching this show and he was able to just recite the dialogue. Like you could mute the show.
That's Biggs with Donnie Darko.
He would recite all the dialogue like in the characters' voices with his eyes closed. Just because if he knew like what part, because he would just know like which line was coming which, like you could mute the whole thing after the intro and he would be able to recite all of it.
See, here's the problem, Eggy. My memory is so bad, I can't remember like even my most favorite characters' names from certain things. It just, in the moment when I'm trying to think of it, it's just gone. I could tell you everything they do, but the name, couldn't tell you. No idea.
Mikadu, man, that was clearly me just shitting on people who do stupid power scaling like you. But it's undeniable that Ulti has very strong durability. I mean, you'd be a fucking retard to deny that. Surely stronger than Ace's, actually. He died in one hit. Rotten Apple for $10 says, Eggy, I told you MUMKEY to call you on stream a couple weeks ago and tell you that you were the realest pigger on the net. He didn't because he's a massive redacted. Much love, Eggy. Everyone else blown the fuck out.
Well, he did call me, but it's true. I don't remember you saying that I was a real pigger.
It's not my type of language, I don't think. But this fake fans currently has 76 pathetic points, which lands it, I think, even higher than me. This is one of the highest ones so far. Slightly below a lot of things, though. It's below our audience, Christ is King Crybabies, reading subtitle Crybabies, and co-hosts who lie to the audience about playing espionage next week. It's one below all of those.
The Dank is asking, can you be my father? Well, you know what? Let me meet your mother, and we'll see what it do.
Yeah. Okay, Biggs, are you ready to bring something in this week?
So, how do I word this?
Mikadu, man, I was getting the manga when I was in elementary school. Probably longer than you've been alive. Nice try, kid. Okay, go ahead, Biggs.
This is probably a cold take, I guess, but I do think it's very pathetic. Is parents who feel the need to punish their children in public in front of everyone else. Nobody wants to sit and listen to you scream at your child in the checkout lane. Or even when it gets to the point where you're spanking them, like all for it, go for it, spank your kids, who cares? But I don't think you need to do it in the middle of a grocery store or even out at like a park or something. I just think it's very strange, especially for me. I just don't really like when that sort of stuff happens around me. You should really take that somewhere else and do it behind closed doors. Like, I don't feel like you should also humiliate the child in front of everyone that way. It's just,
Well, have you met a child today, Biggs? Like, they're more stupid than ever. They're more resentful and nasty
well,
to their parents. Those kids
that's just
probably have
because
it
they're not,
coming.
that's probably because they're not getting punished at all at home.
So they should get the shit beat out of them in public in front of everybody.
I'd rather not have to deal with that awkward scenario where there's like some woman screaming at her child. Like,
But Biggs, think of all the classic Medea moments we would miss out on when Medea slaps little black children in the face. Like,
but
we
you
love
know,
those.
you know what worked on me more than getting wailed on in the middle of a Walmart? Is right before I go in the store, my mom looks at me with cold, dead eyes and says, "If you act up in there, I will kill you."
I don't
when
think
we
it
get
rubbed off
home.
because our whole teenage years, every time we would leave any establishment, you would scream, "We stole something!" and then start running to the car. So she did not fucking teach you. She
Hey,
should have been
at
beating
least-
you. You wouldn't have been so immature, Biggs.
At least we were doing it outside as we ran away.
I mean, I wouldn't run. You're the guilty one.
Oh man.
What would Medea do? She slaps the shit out of little black kids. Pay attention to these fucking reviews, dude. It happens like every movie.
I don't know why that just reminded me of the time when you got chased out of the cheesecake factory because you didn't like sign your receipt.
Yeah, we
or
didn't.
something.
Yeah, we didn't sign the receipt well enough for him.
Oh my
Yeah,
word.
but I didn't yell, "We stole something." But we should bring that back. Every time we go out, we should yell, "We stole something." I was thinking of
True.
that the other day, leaving the gas station. I don't know, Biggs. A lot of the chat so far is against you. They say L take. It's just discipline. Eggy, did
Yeah,
you get
sure,
beat
it
as
can
a
be
child?
discipline, but I don't think it needs to be in the middle of like any public space. Do it at the like in your
Do
car
it
or
at
at home.
home.
Like I don't need to see that.
The things you do to a small child should be done behind closed doors, is what Biggs is saying. We don't want to see it happen.
True.
Take it to Epstein's Island. I don't want to see it.
Well, see, for me, I mean, I got the belt,
Do it at the casino.
I can remember, getting the belt when I was a kid. But at the same time, when I was 1 year old, I was in daycare, and some older children just started curb stomping me and beating me, and it dislocated my shoulders, and I had to be hospitalized as a result. So, due to the fact that I was beaten so severely and hospitalized from 1 year old, it taught me to be a little more considerate. So I never made any scenes or anything like that when I was younger because, I just, if I seen that belt come out, if I seen that that ruler come out or whatever, I was on that hashtag scared straight. So, but then again, then I did, once I got older, I was the same height that I am now at 11 years old. So once I was able to start physically overpowering people again, then it was time for my vengeance. That's when I became a gang member.
Those
and,
nuns never hit you
car
with a
thief and
ruler
things of that
again.
nature, but otherwise, for those younger years before I was, old enough to physically impose my will on my enemies, I definitely fell in line.
Well, as you were talking about being beat with a belt, Coomer said, "Aw, hell yeah," and then said, "I meant hell yeah to this show." just joined, not the story. And we had Rotten Apple super chat to say, "I'm a Make-A-Wish kid and my dream is to do lines of coke in a dirty Arby's bathroom with the boys. Can we set that up?"
Yeah, we should. It's Arby's free sandwich month right now. You get a free sandwich each week with a $1 purchase. So,
And Biggs is supplying the coke. So it's only Diet Coke this week, unfortunately. Somebody drank all my Pepsis. I got to drink Diet Pepsi. Okay, Biggs, should I put this on the poll then so we can...
Yeah, go for it.
People who beat their children in public, is that what you're saying?
I feel like even yelling at a kid in public is just really pathetic to me because it's
Dude.
like, for one, if your kid's screaming and like being unruly, just leave. Why are you staying? And once the parent starts screaming on top of that, it's just such a pathetic scene to witness. Like,
It's
Okay.
true. You know, I didn't realize this at first. So for a lot of years, I've been against probably like 10, no, probably more than that. Let's say 13 years. I've been against single motherhood because I would say, well, when 2011 or whatever, somebody sent me this thing called the red pill, and I read it as statistics. I was like, oh, when the women's do not have a man and a father in the household, it has a negative impact on the child. They become disorderly, and you have these situations like that where it's the lady screaming, she's trying to like smack the kid with a tennis racket or a net or a bag or something. She's like, "Stop yelling!" And the kid's like, "F you." Um, and so I was always like, you know what? Hashtag stable family unit. However, within the last year, I was bored, and so I decided to revisit the research, and it wasn't what I thought it was originally. It turns out that the children of single mothers end up to be
Scholars?
well, they end up antisocial, they end up disorderly and in prison and things of that nature.
Oh, so not quite a
Um,
scholar.
no, turns out it's just because they have to spend so much time around a woman without getting that nice male counterbalance to kind of even them out.
It
So,
drives you crazy.
you know, the hysteria, becomes sort of contagious, and it just makes them go crazy. So I think this hysterical supermarket situation that's being used for our example here, it's bad because it'll make your children hysterical, and they'll start screaming in supermarkets and things as well. So
Okay, Biggs. It looks like this is going to end up with 47 points, putting it third to last on the list. How do you feel?
I mean, sure. Apparently 53% of people enjoy watching some woman scream at a child while it's crying and wailing. And
There's a reason why cape shit is the most popular genre. People want to see justice. They want to see villains get punched in the face. Like, you want to see Captain America punch Hitler. You want to watch that little bratty child who's interrupting the fucking movie that I'm watching, running up and down the aisle. I would love to see them get hit. I'm more frustrated and angry
I would just
if
prefer if
their
they leave.
behavior continues.
I prefer they just leave.
That almost never is gonna happen. Either they let their fucking rotten kid do this bullshit, or they get fucking brutally beaten with a belt. Okay? Those are the two binary. That's the options here. I want to see the kids get injured. It's called being heroic. Should I put people who beat their kids with any context and see how many votes it gets? Pathetic or not pathetic? Should we do a quick one?
Sure.
People who beat their kids for any reason. Would you like to weigh in on why this is pathetic or not, Iggy?
well,
Definitely not pathetic.
I mean, listen, see, when I was a boy, they had something called where you get sent off to camp, and this ain't arts and crafts camp. If you were a punk, because once upon a time they had boarding school and all that, they had military academy, but if you weren't fixing to send your youngin' to military academy or the boarding school, because them cost too much money, you send your boy to camp. And so what that'll do is it's kind of maybe a old maybe veteran or something that's running that, and you're out there in the woods, you're sleeping, you got a knapsack, maybe a tent, maybe a log cabin of some kind, but this ain't no resort. This is just some trees and sap or whatever. It's minimal. It's maybe got some animals getting in there.
Return to monk, pretty much.
But you spend about 18 months and you're out there in the woods, and every single day you're chopping trees, and you just basically do that for a good 1 or 2 years. They'd say another way. They'd say they were gonna send them up north. So I'm sending the boy up north, and they take you for about 2 years. If you had, it was sort of a diversion program before there was such a structure in place for that. Say my boy ain't right, I'm sending up north, and you go out there and you're living in the woods under Sergeant Chudley, and you got to get up and you're gonna make your knapsack each day. You're gonna go get a couple gallons of water for boiling, and you're gonna go start chopping them trees down with an axe. You can get that lumber right, and you chop the tree down with the axe. And you do that. It might take you a couple days depending on how the tree was, but then you get the tree down, and you got to strip the branches, and then you got to prepare the tree. So that's when you'd have 2 men on each side of the tree with a long saw, and they go back and forth. They'd give and take like that, and because you need to section the lumber, and basically just do that for a couple years up there.
Couple years.
And they feed you on oats and maybe some hominy grits if you're lucky for a treat, and you're drinking boiled river water, and maybe if you're lucky, every now and then you could get some birch tea.
That's a treat up there.
So you don't. That's how you don't have to beat your kid for that. But I don't know. Nowadays it's different. They might not have them same kind of programs anymore.
Like slave labor is better than beating them, because I'd almost rather be hit.
Well, it's a disciplinary situation, because when you go, let's say, even if you're an 18-year-old kid without structure, direction, you go into basic training. I'm not for the military, but you're gonna be held to a certain, or you could be in a correctional facility for that matter. You're not gonna just be able to. You're always gonna have to have a strict regiment. And going up north for these teenage boys, that was a way to instill that strict regiment in the person.
Biggs, do you wish you would have been sent to something like that as a teenage boy? Maybe you would have turned out better.
Probably would have turned out smaller.
Now you would have got some gains. You'd be nothing but muscle, same size.
If you're in the poll right now, they're gonna have the same percentage. Oh, I just jumped up one.
Yeah, so just people beating their kids for any reason is as pathetic as doing it in public, which is, I don't need to put it on the list. It's close enough. People get it. This one will be for our memory list only, headcanon. That was 3 great entries to the list today. We got something near the top, near the middle, and near the bottom. Very diverse subjects today, but we do have one more segment for you folks. It's called The Wheel of Jake Gyllenhaal. Once a month, The Wheel randomly selects a Jake Gyllenhaal starring movie for Biggs and I to review. So far, we've done what, Biggs? We did Stronger, the Boston Bomber movie, and Zodiac. Is it just those 2 so far?
Yeah, just those so far.
And today, almost certainly the worst of the bunch. Well, I guess we'll talk about it, but it's Life, the 2017 alien Dead Space kind of movie where Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds, of all fucking actors, are astronauts up in space fighting an alien. And all 3 of us watched it, and we're going to talk about it. Who knows how long. We're going to spin the wheel and hope for a better movie. I don't know. Biggs, am I going too far? Did you love this film? Is it better than Donnie Darko?
Definitely not better than Donnie Darko. I don't know. For me, it's like if Jake's in it, it's always going to be at least an okay movie, like fine. I don't think I'll ever dislike a movie with a Jake Gyllenhaal in it, but definitely wasn't one of the stronger ones.
I think the thing about Jake is that he does bring enough charisma to any role, and I think he's kind of picky about which screenplay he wants to be in. So even the absolute bottom of the barrel worst movie he's in, it might be this one, it's still like a 3 out of 5. Like it's perfectly mediocre or even, close to average, I guess. So
for me too, with this movie, it was kind of it was interesting to see him paired with Ryan Reynolds, because I feel like most of the time Ryan Reynolds is just playing himself. He's not really playing a character. He doesn't take the character seriously. So seeing Jake get so like wrapped up in a character and trying to like embody them right next to Ryan Reynolds was a very interesting contrast.
And the 3 of us reviewed that Ryan Reynolds video game movie, didn't we?
That's right. Fall Guy or whatever it's called.
Yeah, New Guy or something like that. And I think the difference is, and we were all mostly positive about that, which in retrospect, maybe we shouldn't have been. But the difference is that's a comedy film. This is supposed to be horror drama in space. And Ryan Reynolds cannot do anything but Deadpool. So I like him as an actor in those comedy movies when he's being meta and self-aware and gay and whatever the fuck he's being. But here, when he's dropping his quips, and he's the only character in the movie doing that, and I don't believe him as anybody else. And the movie is immediately improved at the 50-minute mark when Ryan Reynolds is killed. Like from then on, it's actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
What'd you think of it, Aggie?
Well, I just want to say for the audience, at that moment when Ryan Reynolds dies, the alien organism crawls into his mouth and down his throat, and he starts like gasping for air, and like they're in space, so it's zero gravity, and so the blood kind of starts coming out, and like blood, and it's kind of just like floating around. I said that's exactly how it feels to drink aviation gin, which if you don't know, that's Ryan Reynolds' liquor company. To be honest, I've basically, it was very difficult to pay attention to the film at first. They're talking about like, it's all this. They did find the organism. I was not at all familiar. Basically, Jimmy just said, "Hey, we're gonna watch a movie called Life." I was like, "Okay," I didn't know anything at all. No summary. I'd never seen a trailer. I had no idea anything to do with the movie. So I think it was good for this because otherwise it was pretty formulaic at a point.
Pretty much the whole time.
Yeah. Well, but I didn't know. I didn't even know what we were getting into. They're talking
Yeah.
about space. I wasn't sure if they're going to go to another dimension. Is it Rick and Morty? They're walking through the green swirl portal. So that first bit, when they're kind of setting up the whole space program thing, kind of a bore. But once, basically, the long and short of it is they find a inactive cell on some Martian sample of debris or whatever. Some Martian soil sample has an inactive cell, and they're observing it. They find out how to bring the cell to life, and suddenly it starts rapidly multiplying into an alien, and it's gonna kill you.
And they do try to subvert your expectations because it's a horror movie in space, and they find life from another planet, and the main scientist guy who's obsessed with it and treats it like his little baby is this black guy. So you think, oh, when it attacks, it's gonna get the black guy first. Every horror movie got to get the black guy, but no, he gets his hand all fucking mangled up like our buddy with cerebral palsy had. But otherwise that guy survives pretty close to the end, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was like the third to last.
Yeah, expectations accurately subverted. Congratulations, movie. You did the bare minimum. But the main issue for me is that basically every other Jake Gyllenhaal role, there's something magnetic about the character that I want to learn more about him, and I'm just so drawn in. And I feel like this screenplay and really script in general is so basic, so bare. And I'm trying to figure out in my mind, what is the difference? What makes his character in Nightcrawler addicting, but his character here, the man who has broken the record for most time in space, like there's got to be a lot there of he's been isolated, he hates Earth, he has PTSD, like all these things. But we're missing a crucial element, and I think the answer is we never see him in his downtime. Like in Nightcrawler, we get 20 full minutes of him like alone at his apartment, watering his plants, making faces at himself in the mirror. Like, you need to addict me to this character by showing me him when he's alone, just doing the weird shit that he does. And we get absolutely nothing like that in this movie.
Yeah, so I was actually going to talk about the beginning of the movie, because when they're trying to like build the characters and like get you to know them, I feel like they spent time on characters that didn't necessarily matter. Like when they find this organism after the whole scene where Ryan Reynolds' character catches the shuttle or whatever, and they're like celebrating, it cuts to the Asian character. His name is Show, and
which
they're
coincidence? You remember how I was talking about that TV show Shogun? I was thinking either I'm a huge racist or that's the Shogun from TV's Shogun. So the fact that he's playing Shogun and his name is Show.
Yeah, and the thing is, I love the actor. He does.
You gotta watch Shogun.
Everything. I know. I still need to watch it.
You gotta watch Shogun. When I found out he could speak English in this movie, I was pissed. His inability to speak English in Shogun is so frustrating.
He's in
like
so
son
many
of a
good
bitch.
Things, though.
No, I mean he's so good. He's really good.
But anyways, so I feel like in this movie, at least, his character was kind of a minor side character, but I didn't understand why they spent the time to show him like his wife's in labor, he's having a baby. They're like trying to get us to connect with this character, and then don't really spend any time with them the rest of the movie other than like, oh, he's sad because so and so died, and now he's like in a pod hiding. But they didn't really do enough to make me care about any of the characters, and I feel like with Jake being one of the main characters at the end, they should have spent that time showing him like in his downtime, like you're talking about, giving more background in his character because yeah, at the end, really the most personality we got from anyone was Ryan Reynolds' character, and he was the first to die.
Well, and I'll chime in here too. I feel like there's multiple scenes where I mean, there's got to be at least several minutes of this runtime of this film that is spent with characters looking at a screen of some kind with some sort of alarm going off or some sort of something where it's where they're tracking where the alien is in the ship. I mean, they could have taken 3 minutes, just cut one of those scenes where they're like, oh, now he's over here. Oh no, wait, now he's over there. Oh wait, no, he's over here. Just cut like one of those, get 3 minutes. You could have had at least a montage of some sort of sentimental thing with one of these characters, but instead it's like, oh, he's in the thruster, strong thruster. It's like how many minutes is that scene? That's probably a 3 minute scene right there. They're just sitting there watching like the fucking temperature gauge of the thrusters. Oh, he's in this thruster, turn it on. And it sets up, oh, then there's a fuel depleted because they could have probably done it for one thruster, just like quick, like, oh, he's in the thruster, look. Oh, now the fuel's low. But it's just they sit there and they just watch, I think, 3 or 4 different gauges change and just do the same thing over and over again. I mean, they could have definitely used that better for sure.
Yeah, and they spent so much time on scenes like that to where when we do finally get some kind of insight to Jake's character, where he's like, "Oh yeah, I read this children's book when I was little, blah blah blah."
Yeah, Good Night
I
Moon.
felt
Like
I felt so disconnected from the scene because I don't know you as a character. I don't. Why do I care all of a sudden about like other than you being Jake Gyllenhaal? I don't care about your character at all.
that is the issue with making everything so generic is that they throw something in like, oh, he has a pregnant wife, he likes Goodbye Moon or Good Night Moon. These are not things that actually tell us anything about the character. It's the screenwriter's desperate hope that the audience can relate to these things and will automatically like project themselves onto the people when there's nothing specific enough to make me actually give a shit. Like I don't even know his character's name in this movie. Do you remember it?
Jake's
Yeah.
Jordan was his last name,
Okay.
but I don't think
Hal Jordan. Okay.
I'm thinking it was Michael Jordan. Swish.
But yeah, this is one of the misfires in Jake's career, I think. Like he shouldn't have agreed to this movie. He should have known it was a little too generic. And even the Cloverfield Paradox did this better. And I did not like that movie either. Like, go fucking watch Alien. I don't know why they're making movies that are just shittier versions of Alien.
Yeah, I guess the only defense I have for Cloverfield Paradox is because I like the other movies and I thought it fit nicely in that kind of trilogy. But yeah, with this movie I don't know. It felt like they wanted to do an alien movie and maybe just got way out into the weeds with the design of the alien and forgot to write a movie around it.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
think
want
the
to
funniest
go ahead.
I was just gonna say to finish off is the funniest part for me was the ending. I mean, you could kind of see it coming, how one shuttle is supposed to go to Earth and save the woman, the other one's supposed to go out into deep space with Jake and kill the alien, and they kind of made it really obvious that that's not how it worked out. It was the opposite. Um, but then to just leave it off and I mean, I don't think it needs a second movie, but the way they ended the movie
No,
left it on
that's
such
just
a
that's their like this is the epic ending to the movie
yeah.
ending. There's no way they think it's gonna be a sequel.
Right. But that part was probably like the most fun part of the movie.
It actually did catch me by surprise, but then again, I was pretty intoxicated, so maybe I just didn't catch the how they set it up. But what I did catch was the red pills. Okay, I want to drop a couple red pills about this movie. So this is 2017 from this film.
I think so.
So in the beginning, when it's really boring, they they're so the alien in the movie is called Calvin because they basically put out a challenge or a contest or whatever to all the schools in the U.S. To who's going to be able to name the alien or the it's just a cell at this point. But what's this? You're going to be the one. and it's Calvin Coolidge Elementary School or whatever is the one that gets it, so they name it Calvin. But in this part, they mentioned that the International Space Station has received $200 billion of taxpayer money. And in the film, when the alien goes crazy and haywire, basically the military does a recon where they start attacking the space station. And there's a scene where like one of the sensors, or I don't know what it is, one of the wings basically collides with the body of the ship and gets destroyed. And I stood up applying. I was like, $200 billion? Well, it's better than sending it to the Middle East. We got something out of this one. And then towards the end, so as Biggs was mentioning, it sets up, okay, this guy's got the alien, and Jake has the alien in his pod, but he's going to send himself into outer space. And then the lady, who's the other survivor, she's going to re-enter Earth's orbit and come crashing down to the ocean. You think he's going into outer space and she's coming to the ocean, but then all of a sudden it flips it on you. He lands in the ocean, and the way you find this out is that some Asian fishermen see it land out in the water. They come up to it and they look in there, and it's like the alien has consumed Jake Gyllenhaal or whatever. It's like wrapped all around him, and it's like expanded to be all crystalline and like poking into some weird form in the inside of this little space pod. And then they sit there and they're like trying to pry it open, and Jake is like on his 1% health. He's like, no,
Hank, don't do it, Hank! What came out first? I think Ozymandias was the year before, wasn't it, Biggs? But yeah, the movie basically ends with Walter White trapped in the back of the car yelling at Hank. But it's Jake saying, don't open the pod! This alien's gonna fucking kill us all! Ah! But it ends with them opening it, so yeah, happy ending for Earth.
And it just so happened to be some Chinese fishermen. It's like, okay, well, this is 2017 predictive programming, perhaps.
Yeah, the Chinese fishermen unleash a virus that will destroy humanity.
Yeah, it jumps person to person, surface to surface. Like this alien could last on tables for up to 24 hours.
Biggs, did you pick up on any of the Dead Space stuff in this movie? Because like, don't they have a gun called the plasma cutter in Dead Space, or is that just like a sci-fi trope?
I feel like you could just call it a sci-fi trope, but yeah, it is in Dead Space.
Like the monster has little tentacles coming out that you're supposed to shoot off, just like in Dead Space. I was getting a lot of Dead Space vibes. That Ryan Reynolds had the little flamethrower gun, like in Dead Space.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could make that connection. I didn't necessarily make that connection.
Oh. Well, I was hoping it was supposed to be a Dead Space movie, then they didn't get their rights and switched it last minute. That would have saved it if it was a fucking Jake Gyllenhaal Dead Space movie.
I would be so mad if this was a Dead Space movie because of how not well done it is.
A little generic, yeah.
So, am I wrong? They never made a Dead Space program? I thought they did something with Dead Space, or was that just like a fan-made film?
Did they, Biggs? I know about the Halo show.
Now that he says that, I'm remembering some, like an animated series maybe that they did with Dead Space. Let me see.
Yeah. Lewis, favorite memory in Argentina? It's probably just hanging out with my friends down there. There's not really anything special about the location as opposed to Iowa. Argentina is probably the Iowa of South America.
So it looks like there was it was like an hour-long video released in 2008 called Dead Space Downfall.
I don't think that counts. I don't think that's the live-action Dead Space movie we're looking for, Biggs.
Yeah.
Well, should we spin the wheel then? Are we ready? We're done talking about life.
Let's do it.
And I think on our ranking, for those of you paying attention, I think some guy did earn a heart and probably a pin on the last Wheel of Jake episode. So if you want it again, S tier, we have Zodiac. B tier, we have Stronger. Biggs, I'm putting Life at C tier. Do you concur?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. Compared to those, I think it all fits. Let's spin the wheel, see what Jake we're going to be watching next. Oops, it's not spinning on this screen.
I am a bit delayed.
There we go. Okay, good.
Yeah, it's going. Whoa! Biggs can't see it yet. Biggs cannot see it yet.
Ooh, that's a good one.
End of watch. Biggs, is this film about us? White boy and Mexican boy team up. They want to be cops. Happy ending all around. Is this the correct film?
Yeah. I I'm really happy for this movie. I'm excited to review it. I haven't seen it in a little bit,
I
but
haven't seen it since I think
it's
we watched it with Cobb at your apartment back in what 2013, 14.
really, that's crazy. I've seen
Yeah.
this probably last year, I think is the last time I watched it.
So yeah, it's been about 10 years and I still remember it fondly. And if I recall, it did not do too hot at the box office, but it was a critical darling, you could say. So yeah, next month, Biggs and I and maybe a guest will be watching End of Watch. Probably going to be much higher on the tier list than this movie. Biggs, right after this live stream, me and Aggie are going over to Patchy's house to play the game of life and eat macaroni. Would you guys like to come?
We have a few things we have to do right after this, but potentially.
Well, I saw Patchy in the chat say that you're invited, so hit him up in the group chat on Snapchat and let's go get some free food.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'll let you guys know.
Everybody else, thank you for tuning in. Aggie, thanks for joining us on our show.
Been a pleasure to be here, and I'm going to cut you off real quick because, this is something that's going to be expanded upon, but I want to just drop this truc into the world for them to ponder upon for a little bit. Friends, it is my most unhappy and sad thing to announce that incel coworker was recently terminated from my place of employment. There will be more expanded upon that. Figure out a good tribute for him. But just so that the world knows, incel coworker is my coworker no more.
Sad ending to such a heartening story. Biggs, do you have any final words for these cretins before you abandon them for 167 hours?
Good riddance.